Hey guys, it's Josh. Now, oh my god, the Marvel announcements were crazy, right? Well, anyways, with that being said, I earlier did a video like how Marvel should do Captain America 3 Civil War, and it seemed pretty well received. You guys seem to like it somewhat. So I thought, why don't I do one for Thor Ragnarok and all the other movies? So really judging on how you guys accept this video, maybe I'll do more, maybe I won't, depends how you like it. But anyways, I did put some thought into this, so I'm not just rambling off the top of my mind. So let's move along. So basically, Thor 3, I think, it's supposed to revitalize the character of Thor. Now, I think definitely it's a bit late for that, but better late than never. And actually, no, it's not even that late for that, because he's going to have more appearances leading up. Obviously, hopefully he'll be in Infinity War, which is the third/fourth Avengers film. Now, with that being said, a big problem I had with the Thor films beforehand was the fact that before Guardians of the Galaxy, it was the only cosmic Marvel movie. So I felt they needed to capitalize on that more, and I was very disappointed when they kept on going back to Earth, because we already have other heroes on Earth that could do things on Earth, and Thor is one of those heroes before Guardians of the Galaxy that could really do stuff in space and be justified in doing that, especially because they did the whole he's an alien thing, just like strong and everything alien versus being a genuine god like he is in the comics. Because if you guys didn't know that, he is actually divine in the comics. The gods are actually gods. They're magical beings. But anyways, moving on, story wise, now I definitely think characters that should be involved should be Odin, Thor, Loki, Surtur, Enchantress, Beta Ray Bill, and Thanos. Now you're probably like, Thanos? Why is Thanos there? Everybody else, you're probably like, oh yeah, that'd be expected. The reason why I say Thanos is because this movie is going to have to somewhat lead into Infinity War. And they're going to have to give a reason specifically for Thor to really join the fight. Because at the end of Avengers 2, it's been said that he's going to leave Earth and go back to Asgard. Now, with that being said, even though I'm sure Heimdall will be looking down on Earth and seeing what's going on, I'm pretty sure Thor will be busy because from what it looks like, Thor 3 will end off with him becoming King of Asgard, which is what I'm going to get to in a little bit. So anyways, what I'm expecting is, as we know from Thor 2, which by the way, spoilers for Thor 2, The Dark World, as we know, Loki is pretending to be Odin. With that, which is... It was obvious that was going to, be a thing in Thor 3. I feel like everybody knew that. With that being said, Thanos obviously will not be happy with that. So I feel like he's going to release one of Asgard's most powerful ancient enemies, which is Surtur, from his imprisonment. I'm sure they're going to do some sort of imprisonment thing, which is how they're going to explain why Surtur hasn't come before to kill them. Because Odin's not all that strong anymore, so there's no reason for, Surtur not to try killing Odin at his older state. So anyways, I feel like Surtur is going to come back. Thanos is going to be involved in that. And probably in the process, if they do connect the Surtur storyline, with him destroying the Corbinites' homeworld, kind of like they've done in some of the media for, Beta Ray Bill, they could easily make it so that the resurgence of Surtur awakens Beta Ray Bill, with the Corbinites and all that stuff. Even though I prefer it just be Beta Ray Bill and not the rest of the Corbinites, because it might just become a little too much. But with that being said, Beta Ray Bill, I feel like, has a high chance of being introduced, mostly because another powerful figure would be awesome. But also, well, I'm a big Beta Ray Bill fan, but also the fact that Christopher Yost is a co-writer of this movie. Now, Christopher Yost also wrote a lot of Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. He was actually, I think, the showrunner for that show, and when he introduced Surtur, he actually did a storyline. The episode's called The Ballad of Beta Ray Bill, where he introduced Beta Ray Bill, tied it all together with Surtur and all that stuff, and it was really good. And I really enjoyed it personally, so I see no reason why he wouldn't, introduce some aspects of that, considering he wrote that and he's co-writing Thor 3. Now, with that being said, moving onward, I see Surtur destroying Asgard. I want them to do that. I want them to show Surtur. He can, torch the other 9 realms also, minus Earth, obviously, because I don't want them to go back to Earth anytime soon for this movie at all. This movie needs to leave Earth. It really does, to really let Thor be Thor. But moving on from that, I want to see Surtur destroying stuff. He needs to be seen as a threat so powerful that Odin had to lock him away somewhere that no one would ever find him again. And obviously, I like to see Odin. Maybe he uses the last of his life force that he has left, exiting out of the Odin sleep, what have you, to kill Surtur. That'd be nice to see. Leaving Thor the mantle of king, I'd also like to see Surtur kill Loki. It'd be cool if Loki did something where he sacrificed himself for Thor. He did something similar in Thor the Dark World, even though obviously we know that was some trickery. But it would be nice to see him redeem himself in some fashion, even though honestly, considering how big Loki has become, like especially with Tom Hiddleston's charm for the character, I can more so realistically see him escaping and maybe joining Thanos' side, even though from how Thanos has seemed so far, I don't think Thanos would really put up with that. I'm sure he's done with Loki and he wants to kill Loki and get back at him for not giving him the Tesseract, especially now that he knows that Loki has the Tesseract on Earth and is purposely not giving it to him. So I'd like to see the movie end off with obviously Surtur being defeated, Thor rising upon the throne to become King of Asgard. I know I haven't mentioned Jane Foster yet. That's because I hope she's gone, long and gone, like they broke up or something, it's not working out, whatever. Because honestly, she's really holding back the film. Not Natalie Portman, she's a good actress, but just the character of Jane Foster. It's just, it's limiting Thor. And that's not good for the character, it's not good for the movie. Thor needs to be with someone if they're going to introduce a love interest for him, like Sif. And it's not because I'm shipping Sif and Thor, but it's because Sif's on Asgard. So Thor can be on Asgard. Thor can do Asgardian things with Sif that he cannot do with Jane Foster. But with that being said, I would like to see, like I said, Thor become king at the end. Loki either being dead for good or joining Thanos' side. I could easily see him filling in Mephisto's role in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline that it looks like they're going to do for Infinity War. And also I'd like to see the movie end off with actually be really cool to see Loki give Thanos the Tesseract. Or just, which is actually the Space Gem, or Space Stone, or Thanos just straight up just pimp walks into the ruins of Asgard after Surtur's attack and just takes it. So all in all, that'd be pretty cool to see. That's my genuine thing. Actually, it'd be really cool if Thanos kills Loki. But because I feel like there needs to be a personal reason for Thor to want to attack Thanos. Like obviously Thanos is a threat to the 9 realms. I guess they could say that. But it would seem just kind of like, if like there's not a more personal reason. If Loki were to side with Thanos, that would also be a personal reason I'd be okay with. But for the most part, I know also I mentioned Enchantress and Beta Ray Bill, and I haven't touched too deeply on those characters, so let me do so. Enchantress, I feel, could easily be a sidekick that's Surtur, even though I prefer her not to be a sidekick in a sense. I would actually like her to be like a potential, like, if they want to do a love triangle thing again, they could do it with Sif, Enchantress, and Thor. You could have Enchantress charming Thor, but preferably I'd like to see Enchantress be the romantic interest for Loki. That'd be really cool to see, I think, personally, because usually that's what they play with in the Thor comics, even though I know Enchantress in the comics also tries going for Thor too. She, I guess, kind of likes both sides. Anyways, with Beta Ray Bill, I'd like to see him get Stormbreaker. I'd like to see Odin's, like, one of the final things Odin does is reveal Stormbreaker, or something like that, because honestly, Beta Ray Bill is a badass. If you know anything about Beta Ray Bill, you know that for a fact. I'd like to see Beta Ray Bill join the fight against Surtur, and actually, I'd prefer Odin maybe not dying by Surtur's hand, but Thor and Beta Ray Bill together defeat Surtur, with Loki, I guess, too, maybe. But Odin wakes up from the Odin sleep, because I hope he's not dead, and he does that. He gives Stormbreaker to Beta Ray Bill and Thor together destroy, defeat, kill, whatever you want to say, Surtur, and then Odin's final act before he naturally dies, hopefully, would be giving the mantle to Thor, because that could be a really emotional, personal moment, and I think that's what this film needs. It needs to be more personal with the family dynamic. That's one thing a lot of people liked, including me, about the first Thor movie, is that they got the personal, the feeling of the family was there. You know, the sibling rivalry between Thor and Loki was there. It didn't seem all so petty, as you know many people would like it to seem. And I feel like it's, as the actors have described it, is very Shakespearean in a sense, and that's where also I think Anthony Hopkins really thrives, with that Shakespearean kind of vibe. If that makes sense. So, anyways, that's all I have to say about Thor 3. If you guys like what I have to say, and you want me to do any other movie that Marvel revealed, let me know down below, and I'd gladly do it. I could talk for hours about the Marvel